I needed to do that leap of faith for myself. And because I did that, now my life is unrecognizable.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Kara.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are
Wonderful.
you?
Good. So, Jessica, we've known each
Yes.
other for 4 years.
Yes. 4
And
years.
for 4 years, we connected through the life coaching organization, CTI. And
Yep.
I think it was some Facebook group.
It was so random. I had joined CTI because I was on my own career path. I get to help people with theirs. I was on a quest to find a suitable position, something that I would really love. And I had wanted to get into coaching for years,
Mm.
and I kept talking myself out of it. And then I kept getting myself into these burnout jobs, these like burnout situations where I would take on so much and I would just be so depleted. And I kept getting so anxious about work. And so one day, I had taken the day off, and my husband and we took a walk to the movies. He took the day off. We had some brunch and went to the movies. And I remember telling him at the time, you know what? There's nothing wrong with my career. It's just like a relationship that's played itself out, and so I got that sense. And then a month or two later, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send a love letter to the universe that I am on the right path. And so, whatever that means, at the time, I called up CTI literally like a minute after I had this thought. And I enrolled in that program, the life coaching program. And then I was on their Facebook group, their internal CTI Facebook group. And then I don't even know how I was looking or what happened, or maybe it was just the first post that I saw, looking for career coaches, anyone interested in that. And as soon as I saw that, there was just some kind of sudden spark that happened in my brain. And I knew that I had to reach out to you because I'd always loved helping people with their careers, but I didn't know that I could actually do that for a living. And and when I reached out to you, I was like, is this even possible? Do people do this for a living? And you were like, I have a waiting list, of people who want to work with me. We need more career coaches. And then I went through your program, and I feel like my life completely changed from that moment on.
Wow. Wow. And what is it like now? What is your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's completely unrecognizable to where I was at the time. Because
Amazing.
I think I felt like, that I always knew that I wanted to go into business for myself. My parents were entrepreneurs. They had their
Mhm.
own businesses. And I kind of knew that at some point when I had the right work, or I found the right thing, the right idea, that I would. And but it was so hard for me to get over that fear. It really was. So, and I work with people all of the time who are right at that precipice of that leap of faith for something related to their careers, whether it's going into business for themselves, or trying to get a promotion, or trying to land a job that they don't think they can get. I needed to do that leap of faith for myself. And because I did that, now my life is unrecognizable to what I would have imagined back then. And it's so different. I get to make my own hours. I work with people I want to work with. I get to serve a mission in the world to help high achieving, overworking, brilliant women showcase their brilliance without burning themselves out, because these are the mistakes that I've made in my career. And so I get to now give back in the way that I wish that I wish I had had that mentor when I was younger and working in these burnout situations. I would have friends who would constantly say, get out, get out. You're working yourself to death, all of that stuff. And I'd be like, I know, but I don't know how. It was
Wow.
possible. It was always possible. It really was. There's just a transformation of mindset that I needed to have, and that leap of faith.
And you took that leap of faith. And
Mm-hmm.
now because of that leap of faith, you can help other women take a similar leap of faith. So
Mm-hmm.
is that kind of the group that you support?
Well, I mean, the truth is, I support anyone of any gender. At the same time, I feel called to help women
Mm,
specifically because I think that women are socialized in a lot of ways to take on everything, to take on all of the responsibilities of everyone around them, to sort of come to the rescue, to put so much on their plates, to be super women, to be superhuman. And when you're in a job situation, when you're in your career and you you equate your self-worth with how much you do, you're likely going to burn yourself out at some point. You're going to maybe suppress some of your zones of genius to over leverage other things that like your company expects or your boss expects. So you may be out of alignment with your own authenticity.
mm,
And then it's hard for you to gain the recognition and the promotion that you rightly deserve. It's like when you see other people who do less than you, or you feel like they do less than you, because this happens a lot. Work with people and we're like, I do so much more than that person. Why did they get the promotion and I didn't? Well, maybe it has nothing to do with how much you actually are able to put on your plate.
mm,
Maybe it's really about creating visibility. It's about really truly understanding your zone of genius, what you really bring to the table, to be able to talk about your achievements, or really to be able to define what you do. It's like I know that back in the day, I was sort of a victim to my nebulous job description.
mm.
Because I would have these nebulous jobs where I I would get promotions, but I wasn't letting go of the lower level tasks. So I was still doing the things that I got hired to do, but now we're just like adding more responsibilities on top of that. And that's not to me really like a full promotion.
Mm,
So that's what I really want to help women with specifically, is to learn how to make their work more visible and to really stand out. And that's either when they're in a job that they like but they're trying to get a promotion at, or they're trying to grow and move up, or when they're looking for a new job. I mean, they might be stuck in a toxic work environment, or they just don't really like what they do, or they feel like there's something better for them or something out there. So really doesn't matter if you're staying in a job or if you're leaving a job. It's really about how you are able to talk about yourself. And that, I would say, is kind of the number one issue that most of my clients have.
I've been following you on LinkedIn and seeing the different posts that you share about client successes. And I'd love to hear, um, maybe share a couple of instances where you've helped be that mentor for someone
Mhm.
and really show up in whatever they're attempting to do in their career change.
Yeah. This question is so rich because success and transformations come in all shapes and sizes. For some people, it's they landed a job. For other people, it's that they negotiated a much higher salary than they ever thought they could. For other people, it's being able to like get over the icky feeling around networking and the fear of reaching out to someone and asking for help. That is a huge transformation for a lot of people. Being able to talk about yourself, to answer the tell me about yourself question, that is a measure of success. But I'm thinking of this one woman in particular, who is such a hard worker, and she's kind of in project management, felt like she wanted to leverage more parts of her brain. She knew that she could be on a track to move up in her career, but was one of those women who, like I'm talking about, who worked so hard but didn't get any of that recognition, and brought so many great ideas to the table and was so indispensable in so many ways. But just based on the setup in her organization, and she was working for a large company, actually, like a bank. And but based on the setup at the organization, there really wasn't anywhere for her to go. But she really wanted to get out. And when I looked at how she was preparing for her interviews, everything was so like sanitized and very top level information. And because of that, people just weren't getting her, because her job was multifaceted, as many of these women are. And she wasn't, like in her mind, maybe just a project manager or only a project manager, right? She was a lot of things. So it's just really hard for her to deepen the story. And what we worked on is really deepening the story. Why did you make that choice? What was your motivation to do that? How did that impact other people? How to quantify the achievements? So rather than getting like this flyover version of her work history, it became just like this deeper story, and she was able to be very concise.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the key, right? To not go on and on.
Right. And also a key, what I'm hearing you say is that you helped her show up not sanitized. I like when you said that word. It was like a sanitized version of her. And that you helped her be possibly incredibly comfortable with who she is in her own skin, and allow that version of her to come forward so that they do get her.
Yes. And she did get an amazing job offer. She, the senior director, I think, who hired her, wants to put her on the track to replace her. Which is just phenomenal, because she knows that she's capable of that. And now she's in this position where she has that light at the end of the tunnel, whereas she didn't have that. There was no growth in the previous position she was in. And one of the biggest things that I helped her with, I think, was the negotiation process. That obviously the interview stuff was really important, because she wouldn't have been able to negotiate something had she not really locked in how to present herself really well, how to package herself and deepen that story and everything. But when it then came to the negotiation, or once she received the offer, there were all these little intricacies. There were a lot of the start date was a concern, because if she left her position too early, she would not get her annual bonus. And there were things like that, and they wanted her to start earlier. And so we just learned, we really talked about and helped her learn to not create any friction in the negotiating process. That's the thing, is like, I always talk about reducing friction. When you put up roadblocks, we do this all the time. We put up roadblocks to, stumbling blocks, that kind of slow things down. So we worked on that. And I think that was such an amazing experience working with her on this, because I would say that a huge or a common trait among the women that I work with is like radical honesty. And sometimes when you're radically honest, you're not, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being skillful in the conversation. And it's really about it's about skill. That is not just a negotiating tactic. That's for your entire career. Being able to negotiate conversations with agency and skill. The authenticity, of course, is important, but you can have agency, which means that you can show up how you want to show up in the environment or in the circumstance that you're in. And then you have that authority and the command.
Yes. And as you said, she can take this forever with her. It's fascinating. So so you and I, we met in life coaching, and yet as career coaches, I think a lot of people see it as a one-time thing, that you're going to help me get a new job. But what I hear you say, it's way more than that.
Absolutely. I think about it also from the perspective of, if somebody is looking to leave a job that doesn't really serve them, there might be something in that job, like if they were to go back in time, that they would do differently. And so we talk about how to then practice what you want in your next job while you're in your current job. It helps to set up your self-esteem, gives you confidence that you're not just a victim of your circumstance, but you actually can manifest what you want to manifest in your current role so that you can then take that into your next one. So it's all part of a continuum. And then somebody gets into a job and I help them onboard themselves into a new job because I'm sure better than a lot of people that many companies don't do adequate onboarding. And even the companies that do a really good job of onboarding, you have to onboard yourself. You have to figure out what you need to succeed without burning yourself out. We all have probably fell into that trap at some point. I just got a new job. I have to prove myself. I have to prove that they made a good hire. So I'm going to nights, weekends, I'm going to, show up. I'm going to come in early. I'm going to stay late. I'm going to put in that FaceTime so that I'm proving that they hired well. And you don't really have to do that.
Right. That's so true. And I think after so many years of attempting to create onboarding programs that are awesome from the perspective or the sitting in the employer seat. And you're absolutely right. There are so many unknowns there, and who has that information is the new hire, the person who just started in that role. And they are the best to be sitting in the seat to control what the onboarding is. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad, Jessica, that you had said that you don't need to work morning, noon, and night in order to prove yourself. That it's a skill, as you had said. A skill of how to present yourself in those first, whatever, 90 days or how many days it would be. And I'm curious to know what other skills could you share with us as far as skills that you've helped other people with?
Oh, that's such a good one. I know that vulnerability, I guess it could be a skill, right? I think that especially when you're starting a new job, and this is one of the areas that I love to help people with. And I'm going to promote that more. I don't really talk about that a whole lot, but I am going to start promoting that more because it's an area that I absolutely love. So what I think people end up doing when they start a new job is they suffer from that imposter syndrome. I'm afraid that they're going to see who I really am and that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not going to ask for help. So I think that sort of that vulnerability piece is super important as a skill because it puts you in a learner's mindset. Because when you start a job, if you kind of come into it almost like forgetting what you know and being just like, like a kid in the candy store, never been in a candy store before, but look at all these beautiful colors, look at all these beautiful shapes and all these, whatever, sweet candy and all of that stuff. You kind of come into a new job with that curiosity, the vulnerability to ask for help or to say you don't know how to do something. Then you're putting yourself in the learner's mindset. Then you're actually learning, not pretending that you know how to do something and then you're going to fake it till you make it. I'm not a big fan of the fake it till you make it mantra when it means when it means something on the negative side, or when it means something like that prevents you from growth or prevents you from asking for help or prevents you from learning all you can. And I think that, I actually have a client who started to do that when she got a promotion to a whole new division at her company. So she was one of the founding members of this division. She realized that nobody had that vulnerability to say that they don't know something or they don't, they're just like pretending that they know what's going on. And so many people didn't know what was going on until she started to engender that on the team. Like, it's okay to say no. Like, I don't know. I don't know either. We're learning this together. I'm new to this division. We're this new project that's going on at this workplace. So once she started to do that and model that, the communication just got so much richer on her team and with cross-functional teams, not just her team, but cross-functional teams. And I think that that was a skill that she was able to pass on, and it improved the work performance of everyone that she was coming into contact with. So I think that's a success, and I think that that is a skill.
Yeah, I love that. What you called it, a learner's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Almost walking in the door, leaving all what you've known
Yeah.
um, there, and then walking on in with this incredible curiosity. And
Mm-hmm.
you had said that this is a piece of your business that you want to begin to talk about more.
Mm-hmm.
How has your business evolved? I mean, it's over time, what I've seen, it's become richer and richer,
Mm-hmm.
um, with much more um, juicy content and juicy help for others. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so curious that your own path of your own curiosity, that
Mm-hmm.
perhaps you're sharing what you know and what you've done with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that comes to mind is purpose. When I first started, I helped everyone and anyone. Like I didn't know what it was so hard for me to come up with
Mm.
my ideal client, like who I want to serve, all of that, because these are things that you hear a lot especially when you go into business for yourself or when you work in any business, really. I think over time, I really started to see the work that I was doing as part of a larger mission. And I think that I need that larger mission. It's like that is what I needed when I was working in other organizations. I needed, show me the purpose. I needed to see the leadership and what we were working towards more than just what I was doing on the day-to-day basis.
Mm.
And so that's now what I'm doing with my own business. I think I'm a little bit of a late bloomer when it comes to this stuff. Some people get it pretty early. They start their businesses and they know, oh, I want to help, women in tech over the age of 50, get this thing, right? I just wanted to help everyone. And I think that I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did. I helped everyone, but I think because I learn through experiences and experimentation, I'm not, sometimes I think of myself as a visionary on certain things, but when it comes to kind of managing my own business and all of that, I need to practice, try something new, experiment, see if it works. And if it works, great, then I'll do more of that. But it took me so long to, well, I guess what I would consider so long, it's really only been a little over 3 years that I've been in business. So it's not that long, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. But I think that having that purpose and knowing that, like, I want even greater than what we have today. I want women to take the world by storm.
Mm.
And it's the unsung hero women, like there are those, come out of college powerhouse, super driven, really good at politics and like working their way up in organizations, just, really, really smart, versatile, driven, motivated women. There are other women who have those capabilities, but they're hiding under the radar. And I want to help them get out from under the radar, because I was doing that for so long. I was under the radar. I'm just going to do my work and keep my head down. And that didn't equate to this sort of success that I really wanted and what I was looking for. And so if I can help those women get out from under the radar, I think that we're just, look out world.
Yeah, look out world. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for the people that work with you. What an opportunity, this mentorship, this coaching that they can have with you. It's very exciting. Any last things that you want to share? Anything that's on your heart that you want to say?
Oh, that's such a good question, Kara. Just to reiterate that I think of working with people on a continuum. Like what you said before, that it's not just a temporary fix.
Yeah.
I want to, and what I'm driven by is to create lasting transformations. So, because the thing is that career and job seeking issues bring up a lot from our past, whether it's like old family trauma or bad work experiences in the past, getting fired from a job, whatever that may be. It creates this tension that we kind of like stumble through our careers having, like we're kind of carrying this knapsack of stuff, and I think of the whole, like all the work that I do as part of a continuum. It's part of like where you are right now in the professional journey and how you can kind of start to let go of some of the things that might be holding you back. And so I think that that's sort of what is on my mind right now, is how what I do is part of a continuum, and how I see that regardless of where somebody is in their career, if they're struggling with something, if they're not able to break through their own glass ceiling or their company's glass ceiling, I can likely help them. It's not just I'm looking for a new job. That's what I mostly do, right? Is help people find new jobs. But I think that that's just one morsel in the grand scheme of an entire career.
Yeah.
So that's really what's on my mind right now, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about where I am now, and almost like in that space of reinvention. What does that look like? Like almost like I want to start my business over from the beginning with everything that I know now. It's like, if you could go back to high school, knowing what you know now, do it all over again. That's sort of how I feel right now.
It's the beauty of being your own boss. You are your own CEO. You can do it. You can reinvent this. You can change it. You can move the direction.
Absolutely.
How wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for
being
here and sharing your experience with us and giving other individuals courage to step forward and take this world by storm. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. I loved it.